What's your name?
Jennifer Finney.
What's your birthday?
9/15/87.
What's your age?
36.
When did you join this service?
August of 2007.
What military branch were you in?
I was in the Army and I left as a specialist.
What were you doing before you joined the service?
Nothing. I was just working.
How did you feel about leaving home?
How did I feel about leaving home? Excited, nervous. So.
What were holidays like while you were in the service?
So when I was in AIT, which is like a school, we had to go to somebody that we didn't know's house for Thanksgiving dinner with their family. So it was like sponsor of a soldier kind of thing. So we went there, and then when I was in Korea, I had Thanksgiving and Christmas there, and they made better food those days.
Did you see combat?
No, I did not see combat.
Where did you travel to while you were in the service?
So I had basic in Missouri, went to AIT and was stationed in Texas, Oklahoma, and I went to Suwon, Korea. So that's in South Korea.
Who was there to greet you when you came home?
Mainly my mom was the one who picked me up from the airport every time.
What job or schooling did you get when you came home?
As soon as I got out of the military, I was a stay-at-home mom for several years. So,
Do you think war was worth the price?
do I think it's worth the price? That's a yes and no. Because I think that with war, it always comes with casualties. So that's the downside. But I think that protecting the people that you love is worth it. Is that it? Yeah?
You have any funny moments you'd like to share with any of us?
Funny moments. I really don't know funny moments. I don't really have any funny moments. You develop like a family. So you always, when you're away from your family, you develop a family and you have like a family relationship. So like I ended up with what I call him as my brother, who treated me like his little sister. I had foot surgery, and anytime that like I was just tired of walking from one side of the post to the other, because where I was stationed in Korea didn't have like transportation, so you had to walk everywhere. And all I would do be like, hey, can you carry me? And on his back I would go, and he'd carry me all the way to where I wanted to go. So you develop a family, you have inside jokes with them, so it's fun.
What did you do in the Army?
What did I do? Okay, so I was a 14 Juliet, which means I stared at a computer, well, multiple computer screens and TVs, and I watched for missiles to come in. So when we were in Korea, we had this room, probably about this size, and it had multiple TV screens in it, and we actually watched real airtime for Korea, and you could see things moving in the sky. So you had to make sure it's like set off to go. If there is a missile launch, it'll go off. So.
Do you have anything else you want to share?
Like what do you mean? What do you want to hear?
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No.
That like happened when you were in the army?
When I was in the army, no.
What did a typical day look like?
A typical day. At home, like stationed in the US or overseas?
Both.
Both. So at home, before I left, I was a ammunition and land specialist. So what I did was I went to office in the mornings at 9 a.m. Well, we had PT at 6, go home, shower, come back at 9. And I would set up ranges for 5 battalions. So they would come to me and ask for like a range to go shooting or to do different things to make sure that their weapons were set up for them. Overseas, we had shifts. When we were in a practice situation, when I first got there, I worked the thirds pretty much, which was actually during the day here since it's 14-hour difference. And you sat in that room the entire day for 7 days a week. But when we were out of that practice and we were doing live, we went to the field and we had to set up all of our equipment and then do practice runs in case like go time kind of thing. Other than that, if it wasn't in those situations, I sat in an office doing a lot of paperwork.
What made you join the army?
What made me join the army? Actually, I never planned on it. My mom and my brother were actually in the recruiting office and said I should meet them there. So I went there thinking that I was just meeting them there, and the lady talked me into it. I signed the papers, went to my job right next door at Jimmy John's in Charleston, gave them my 8-day notice, and I left the next week. So
What made you leave the army?
what made me leave? So I left because we were deploying and I didn't have somebody to take care of my son. So that's a family chapter. So you can get out if you don't have somebody to watch your kid while you're deployed.
Did you ever get any free time to call your family?
Yes. So during our downtime in basic, you don't have much but 1 day a week to call your family, and only for a few minutes. That was normally on Sundays. In AIT, you got downtime in the evening to do your laundry, to take showers, things like that, and you could call your family, but you couldn't have your phone any other time of the day. When I got out of that and went and just did my job, I was able to call during my lunch in the evenings because you live in your own house or the barracks. And overseas, I had to really be mindful of what time it was. And it was in the evening of my time, it was the morning, and I would talk to my mom on the way to her work, I should say.
What year did you leave the army?
2010, I think May of 2010.
Did you ever get any free time to go and see your family?
In basic, no. AIT, I got 10 days over Christmas to go home because they shut the barracks down. And then when I went a few times when I was stationed in Fort Bliss, I didn't get much. I got a few days to go home. Then I went overseas and I flew back from Korea to be with my family for about a week, and then I went back, and then I got a few days after that, and I could put in leave requests to do a few days here and there, and it was a 10.5-hour drive home.
How many years were you in the Army?
3.
Did you have any family in the Army with you?
Not where I was stationed. I did get married in Korea. Cost me $12. And then that's who I had until I got out. But my brother was. But we were two opposite jobs.
You guys have any more questions?
No.
What do you want to say to her for coming?
Thanks for coming.